Welcome back. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add the tables that we need to the database. So remember the database that I created, which is PHP project, PHP underscore project. So in order to create the tables, you have two options. The first option is to type the name of the table, and then manually you need to type the name of columns and specify all of these things manually, or you can use SQL. So I have here this code that will allow me to create these tables quickly without the need of typing everything. So for example, I have here the products table, which will have the product ID, the product name, the category, etc. We have also orders, order items, users, all of these things. So instead of typing all of these and creating all of these tables manually, I'm gonna copy this this code, and then I'm gonna paste it in the SQL. You need to select first your database, this database, PHP project, and then click on SQL, and then you need to paste the code here. You need to paste that code here, and then click on Go, and this is going to insert these tables. So as you can see, the products table has ID, name, category, description, etc. So this is how you can create a table quickly by using SQL. Welcome back. Now what we need to do is that we need to connect to the database. And to connect to the database, we need to establish that connection by creating a PHP code that would connect to the database. And to do that, I'm going to create a new file here called connection.php. And then inside that file, we need to establish the connection. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say here PHP, and then inside that code, here inside that PHP script, what we want is that we need to create a variable here called con with double n, and then it's going to be equal to mysqli underscore connect. So this function is going to allow you to connect to the database. So this function takes 4 parameters. The first parameter is the host name. So the host name is localhost. You can check the database credentials if you go to localhost/phpMyAdmin. Again, you need to make sure that your Apache web server and MySQL database both up and running so that you can access the localhost phpMyAdmin from your browser. So you can click on user accounts, and in the user accounts you will find the credentials that you can use. So the one that I'm using and the one that I recommend using is root, localhost, and the password is nothing, and the global privileges is all privileges. So this is the one that I'm going to be using. Again, the host name is localhost, the username is root, the password is nothing. The global privileges is all privileges. So let's use these. Here, the first parameter is the host name, which is localhost. And you need to make sure that the spelling is correct. The second is the username. So the username is root. The third is the password. So the password is nothing. So we pass here empty quotes, and then comma. The last parameter is the database. So the database is database. Remember, the name of the database is PHP underscore project. Again, that's PHP underscore project. So here I'm going to say PHP underscore project, and then after that we need to say, or in a new line I'm going to say or die, and then inside that die we need to type a message in case we couldn't connect to the database. So we need to say here could not connect to database. So let me explain this code one more time. This code, whenever we use this code, and we will be using this code a lot, this file, whenever we use this file is going to try to connect to the database using this credential. It's going to try to connect using the localhost and the root and it's going to try to connect to the PHP underscore project database. If it connects successfully to the database, then we can continue. If we couldn't connect to the database for some reason, it will die, it will stop executing any PHP code below it, and it will display this error message. It will say couldn't connect to database. Pretty simple and straightforward. Lastly, you just need to click on File and then Save All, and we are good to go. Welcome back. Now it's time to learn how to add products to your database. So in order to add a product to the database, the first step is that you need to make sure that your Apache web server and MySQL database both are running. So make sure that they are running using XAMPP. The next step is that you need to head on over to the browser and then type localhost/php myadmin. Now I'm going to open the database, which is this database, and then we need to open the products table. So this is the products table. I'm going to click on it, and then we need to click on here insert, and then we can now insert a new product. So here I'm going to insert a new product. So the product that I'm going to insert here, product name, I'm going to say pizza with cheese. This is just an example. The product ID, you need to leave it empty because the ID is always given by the database. So just keep it empty. Now the product description. So the product description is a description of this meal. So for example, you can say here pizza with cheese and onion, like this. And then the product category. So the product category is going to depend upon how you categorize your products. For example, if you have pizza and other meals, you can have two categories or three categories. One of them is pizza, and the other one is something else, such as sandwiches, things like that. So here, the product category, I'm going to say pizza because this is obviously pizza. Product type, here also the product type is going to depend upon how you give types to your products. I'm going to say here meal, which means that it will contain pizza with for example cola and salad, something like this. Product image. The product image is the most important one because it's a little tricky. So the product image, first of all, you need to have an image. So I have this image. Let me open the image. This is the image. This is the image of the pizza. You need to know the name of that image. So the name of this image is pizza-1.jpg. So I'm going to say here pizza-1.jpg. Again, that's pizza. As you can see, it's pizza-1.jpg. So this is the first step. The second step is that we need to add this pizza image into our project folder. So I'm going to open our project folder. So this is the project folder. I'm going to open the images folder. And then I'm going to drag this image and then drop it onto the project folder. As you can see, this is the image. Finally, you need to give a price. So the product price. The price, I'm going to say here I'm going to say, for example, 90. Special offer, product special offer. For example, the special offer is 0, which means that there is no special offer. And then I'm going to click on go, and this is going to insert the product into the database. So as you can see, the product has been inserted into the database. So I have inserted now so many different products here in the database, in the products table. And I want you to do so because you need to have at least 10 products, 10 meals in order to continue working on the project. Because if you don't have so many or at least 10 products, we will not be able to continue because we need to get the products and display the products in the front end. So now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create a script that's gonna pull out data, pull out these products and display them in my application. So I'm gonna here click on this to create a new file, and I'm gonna name this file get underscore products.php. And then here the first thing that we need to do is that we need to open a PHP script, and then we need to include the connection because we need obviously to connect to the database. So I'm gonna say here include, and then what I'm gonna include is that I'm gonna include the connection. I'm gonna say connection.php. And then the next thing that we need to do is that we need to create a variable here. I'm gonna say statement stmt is equal to, and then I'm gonna say con, because if you open the connection you'll find that we have a variable called con. So we need to say con, and then prepare, I'm gonna call the prepare, and then I'm gonna say select, and then asterisk, because we need to select all from, and then the name of the table is products. And then we need to execute this. So I'm gonna say statement, and then execute, and then execute. This is gonna execute this. This is gonna execute the query in order to get the products from the database. And finally, we need to say statement stmt and then get underscore result. And then we need to store this in a variable called products. I'm going to create a variable called products. Products is equal to this. And now this products variable will contain all of the products that we have in the database. So this is why I am telling you that you need to insert at least 10 meals. Here you need to insert at least 10 meals so that you get these and you will be able to continue working on the project. And finally, we need to click on File and then Save. Welcome back. Now what we need to do is that we need to display the products. So the first step in order to display the products, first make sure that your server is up and running. So in order to make sure your server is up and running, you need to type php minus capital S as I have shown you, and then localhost 8000 in order to run your project in the on this server on the localhost. And in the browser you can type localhost and then colon 8000, and it will display the file. The next step is that we need to rename the products file. This products, instead of saying products.html, we need to rename it, and then we need to say products.php. Now in the browser, if you go to localhost 8000 and then /products.php and hit enter, you will find that we have the products. However, these products are not the real products. These products are hard-coded. So we have a problem here. Since these are hard-coded products, we don't want to display them. Instead, we need to display the products that we added in our products table. Remember the products that we added? Remember I told you need to add at least 10 products, because these products we will need to get these products and display these products here. Let's now do this. So the first step is that we need to open the products.php, and then we need to scroll all the way until we find the products. We need to find these products. So these products are start from here. From here. This is the first one. Let me show you where it is. This is the first one. Let me close it. This is the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. So we have 6 products here. I'm gonna remove all of them and I'm gonna keep only one. So I'm gonna remove, let me show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna remove this, and this, and I'm gonna keep only one. And let me save and let me refresh. Now we should have only one product. So we have only one. Now we need to use the code, this code, in order to get the product. So here, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna first say PHP and then include, and what we want to include is that we want to include the script that we created earlier, which is get products. We need to say here get underscore products dot php, and then we need to loop over the products, because if you open the get products, you'll find that we have a variable called products. So we need to say here php and then for each products as product, and then open a curly bracket, only open it, and then at the end we need to close it. We need here to say PHP and then close the curly bracket. And in between now we need to display the real information about each product. So instead of saying here Italian pizza, we need to remove this, and instead we need to say PHP and then echo, and what we want to echo is that we want to echo the product and then name, product name. So here I'm gonna say product underscore name, because in the database, remember, in the database we have here product name, description, product category, type, image, price, special offer. So we have these, and here semicolon. Next we need to display the description here. I'm gonna remove this, and then I'm gonna say again PHP and then echo, and what we want to echo now is that we want to echo product and then product description. Next we want the image. So for the image I'm gonna remove this. Here we have this style background image, and here images / and then the name of the image. So we need to remove this, only this part, and then we need to say PHP and then echo, don't forget to say echo, and then product and then product image, product underscore image, and then semicolon. Next we need to display the price, so I'm going to remove this here, and then I'm going to say PHP and then product and then product price, product underscore price, and then semicolon, and we are done. Let's now save and test. Let me save everything, save all, and let me test. I'm gonna refresh here the products.php. I'm gonna refresh, and boom, we have all of the products. So as you can see, we have all of the products, but we have a problem with the price. We should say product here price. In the database we have product price. Let me make sure that this is correct. So we need to display here, we need to say echo here. I forgot to say echo. Let me refresh one more time, and as you can see now we have all of the products. And also you can here say if you want to edit the image further, you can add styles to it, but I think it's perfect. I think it's great. So I'm gonna get all of the products. So this is why I'm telling you need to add real products. So these products, let me prove it to you. The first product is spicy pizza with crispy chicken. Here, spicy pizza with crispy chicken. The second one is crispy chicken sandwich. Here, crispy chicken sandwich pizza. So this is the second one, the third, the fourth. So now we got all of the products, and also the price is being displayed. Welcome back. Now what we need to do is that we need to work on the order button, so that once the user clicks on it, it takes that product and adds that product to the cart. So let me open our project, and then in the products here, if you scroll, you'll find that we have a button called order here, this button. So instead of this button, we need to create a form. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create a form here. I'm gonna say form first, and I'm gonna give this form two things, method and action. The method is gonna be post, and the action is gonna be cart.php. And then inside that form, we need to store the data that we want to take with us once the user clicks on order now. So the first input that we want to create is gonna be a hidden input. I'm gonna say type hidden, and that is gonna be the name of this input is gonna be product name. I'm gonna say here product name. But before the name, we need the ID. So I'm gonna say product underscore ID, which is the first thing, and then the value. So the value is gonna be PHP, and then echo, and then what we want to echo is that we want to echo the product here, product, and then product ID, product underscore ID. And now we need to say here semicolon, and then we need to repeat this but store different things. So what we want to store, let me copy this and then paste it here many times. We need to paste it like 5 or 6 times, because we want to take with us different things. We need to take with us the ID and then the name, and here is going to be name, here name. We also want the description. I'm going to say description, and here description, and then we want the price, and then here price. We also want the special offer. I'm going to say special underscore offer, and here product special offer. We also want the category, and here category, and finally we need, let me check the database, we need the quantity. The quantity is going to be 1 by default. The quantity is 1, so there is no need for working on the quantity here, because in the cart the user will be able to decrease or increase the quantity. So now we are done here. The last thing that we need to create is an input, and that input is the type of that input is going to be submit, and the value is order, and we need to remove this a tag. We no longer need this a tag. I'm going to remove it. Let me save and let me refresh. So if I refresh, as you can see, we will have this order button. Of course, if you click on it, it's not going to work yet, but we have this button, order button, which is this submit button, and the type, make sure that the type is submit. The value of this is order. The last input that I'm gonna also create is the image. So I'm gonna here say, product image, product underscore image, and here product underscore image, and we are done with this part. Let me save, and we are done. Welcome back. Now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna reorganize my project in order for the project to be very organized, and for me it's gonna be easier to work with it. So I'm gonna create a new folder here, new folder, and I'm gonna name it assets. And I'm gonna move all of the assets. Assets are things such as CSS, JavaScript, and SCSS and images. So I have now assets. I'm gonna move the CSS. I'm gonna move it inside the assets, as well as the fonts, the images, the JavaScript, and the SCSS. So now all of my assets are inside the assets folder. I have CSS, images, fonts, JavaScript, and SCSS. However, we need to change the URL, because now if you open the index, you'll find that we are using CSS without the assets. So we need to say before CSS, we need to say assets, and then forward slash, and then CSS. So we need to do this for all CSS, JavaScript, and fonts URL. So I'm going to say here assets, and then forward slash CSS, and here assets, and here assets, and here assets. So it's going to take some time. However, it's important, because when you have only one folder, it's going to be super easy for you to work with the project rather than having so many different directories. Now the main folder is the assets. So I'm going to say here assets, and also if you have any image, you need to say the same exact thing. You need to say assets first. For example, here we have images. Before images, we need to say assets, and then forward slash, and then images. So you need to scroll slowly so that you find every single URL that you are using in this template. So as you can see, I have so many URLs. So again, you need to scroll slowly so that you modify all of these URLs. Again, this is very important because down the line, later, it's going to be very easy for you to work with your project if your project is organized. And if your project is not organized, it's going to be difficult for you, especially when the project gets bigger and bigger. And when you have so many folders, it's going to be difficult for you to work with it. So I think I am almost done with this file. Here as well, and here as well, assets, and here. And also here, and here, and here, and here. Now we need to check other files if we have URLs in the other files. So I'm done with this. I'm almost done with this. I still have these, but I'm gonna work on them later. Let me say here assets, and here assets. Now let me check other files. So we are done with the index, but again, you need to make sure that you have changed the directory of all of these. Also in the products, let me open the products and make sure that the URL is assets. For example, here we need to say assets first, assets, and then forward slash images. And we are done. We are done. We have these, but these hard-coded. We shouldn't worry about the hard-coded images because we will get the data from the database here. And we are done. Let me save, and let me open the terminal, and let me run my project. So I'm going to say PHP and then localhost 8000, and let me check that in the browser. So I'm going to say here localhost 8,000. And let me make sure that I have all of the images. So if this happens, if it keeps loading, you need to open the index, and then in the bottom we need also to change all of these JavaScript files. We need to say assets and then JavaScript. So it's gonna take a couple of minutes to change these. So let me change all of these. And here as well. And this one. And this one. And this one. And finally this and this. And this one. And this one. And we are done. Let me save and let me refresh. And as you can see, it's gonna work. Now it's gonna work and it's gonna return everything. So now it's working. Let me check the products.php. So here, the products.php, we have a problem. We need to open the products.php, and then we need to change at the top. We have all of these. So instead of changing these manually, I already changed them in the index. So in the index, I can now copy the header, which is this part. Now this part from here, this part from here all the way to the end of this head, and then in the products I'm gonna paste it at the top here. We need to remove this part, and then paste the one that includes the assets. Also in the index, also in the footer, we need to get the footer, which is this part. This part. I'm gonna copy it, and then in the bottom I'm gonna remove these lines, and then I'm gonna paste the ones that include the assets. Let me now refresh, and as you can see, it's working. But here it says connection. We have a problem in line 4. So the reason for this error is because my Apache web server is not running. Let me start this server, and also the PHP, also the MySQL. Let me now refresh, and the error will be gone. So as you can see, the error is gone, and now we have the menu. So now it's working. And we need to do the same to all of these files. So what I want you to do is that I want you to copy the header and the footer and change all of these headers and footers so that all of them will include the assets URL. Another thing that we need to pass with us here when user clicks on the order button is the quantity. So the quantity is going to be 1 by default, and then the user can increase it later. So I'm going to say here input, and then type, and the type is going to be hidden, and then name. The name is going to be product quantity, product underscore quantity, and then value. The value is going to be 1. So the user, by default, we will allow the user to add one product, one item, and then the user can increase or decrease this from the cart page. So we are done with this part. Let me save, and we are done with this part. Welcome back. Now what we need to do is that we need to convert this cart.html to cart.php. So I'm going to rename this. I'm going to rename this cart.php. and we need to run and test. So I'm gonna open the terminal, and then I'm gonna say PHP minus capital S and then localhost 8000. Now in the browser I'm gonna go to localhost 8000. However, I'm gonna say /cart.php. And if I say cart.php, as you can see, this is the cart page. However, we don't have anything yet in the cart. This is just a hard-coded product. So this is the cart page. It's going to look like this. We want to get products that the user has added to cart using PHP. So to do this, what we want to do is that at the top here, we need to add a PHP code that would do this. So at the top, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say PHP, and then what we want to do is that we want to use the session in order to do this. So here we need to say session start. This is the first step. The first step is that we need to call a function called session start because we are going to be using the session. The second step is that we need to we need to make sure that the session has products. So we need to check whether the session is empty or not, and that can be done using the set function. So I'm going to say here if is set and then session, and then I'm going to store the products in a key called cart. So if this is set, it means that there is a product or products. So if this is set, it means that here it means that there is at least one product in the cart. So if there is at least one product, then we need to get that product from the session. So here, if user has already added something in the session, something in the cart. So at this point, what we want to do is that we want to get these products, the IDs of these products, and to do this, we need to use a function, a PHP function called array column, array_column, and then this array column takes two parameters. The first parameter is the array, which is the session, because the session will start products in a form of array. So this session cart will store products as an array. So it's going to be an array of products, and then inside it, and then the second parameter that the array column takes is the product ID, is the key that we want to use. So I'm gonna be using a key called product ID. This product ID represents the ID of each product. We created a table, the products table, and each product will have an ID and that the key of that ID is product ID. So that way, this array column function is going to return. This is going to return all of the IDs of the product that have been added to the cart. So I'm going to store this in a variable called products underscore array underscore IDs. So this is going to return an array of the IDs of the products. So for example, if the user added 3 products and each product has an ID, for example 55, 88, 90, this array column is going to return only these IDs. So why do we want these IDs? The reason why we want these IDs is because we want to use it in order to be able to check the which product has been added to the cart and which product has not been added to the cart. Because if user wants to add more products, we want to make sure that this product has not been added to the cart. So here we need to say if, and then we need to here use a function called in_array to check whether the product has been added to cart or not. So I'm going to negate this. I'm going to say if is not in the array, and then I'm going to pass 2 parameters. The first parameter is the is a post request, and then I'm going to say here product ID, product underscore ID, and then the second parameter is going to be the products array IDs. So let me explain. This if statement is going to check if product has already been added to cart or not. So if product has not been added to a cart here, I'm saying here exclamation. Exclamation means not. So if that product ID is not among the products array IDs, is not among these IDs, then we need to add that product to cart. So here add product to cart. So here we need to add the product to cart. To add the product to cart, we need to get its ID first. So I'm going to say product underscore ID is going to be equal to product is going to be equal to post product ID, product underscore ID. So this is going to get us the product ID, and then we need to add this to the session. But before that, we need to get everything from that product, the information of that product, such as the product name, the product price, the product image. So I'm gonna here say product array. I'm gonna say product array is gonna be equal to an array, and this array will have the following key value pairs. First, it's going to have the product ID, and we already got the product ID. The product ID is the product ID, and then we need the product name, product name. Make sure that the spelling is correct. The product name, I'm gonna get it again from the post request product name. We also need the product price, product price. We also need the product image, We also need the product special offer, product special offer, and then we need the product quantity. So the product quantity is always going to be 1 whenever a user adds a product to cart. We need to add only one item of that product. Product quantity is going to always be 1, and then the user can update this, increase this or decrease this, or remove the product from the cart. So we can say here product quantity, or we can simply say 0. Initially it can be 0, so it's up to you to do this or this. Let's get it from the post, and then we can initialize this from the post. We can initialize this in the post request 0. We can say 0. So I'm going to say product quantity, and that's it. Now the last step is that we need to add this product array, this product, which is a single array, into the big array, which is the session. To do this, we need to say session cart, and then we need to use the product ID, because we want to store it in a unique ID, which is the product ID. So we need here to say product ID, because we want to store each product we need to kind of pair or connect each product with, or associate each product with a unique ID, which is the product ID. So here I'm going to say is equal to product array, product array. So let me explain this one more time. Here, if the product has not been added to the cart, then we get that product from the post request, and then we add it to the session, and the session will have this structure. The session is an array, and inside it we will have key value pairs, where each key represents the product ID. For example, 3 or 4. Let's say 4, and the value is the product itself, which is the product information, and it's also an array. So it's going to be an array like this. And then whenever we add a new product, we associate it with its ID. So for example, we say 55, the second product, and then we associate that ID with the product itself. And then we have the session, which represents the big array. So this is the session. Pretty simple. And then we say else. We need to say else here, else in case the product has already been added to cart. We just need to say echo, and then we need to say here we need to echo script, JavaScript. We need to say script, and then script, and we just need to say here alert, and then product was already added to cart. Here product, let's use here double quotes, and here double quotes, and here I'm going to say product has already been added to cart. Pretty simple.